Okay, so I'd like to go ahead and get started. I know that we're on a tight time frame. I'd kindly ask that all participants mute themselves if they are not speaking or asking a question. Thank you all. And if I get the okay from our coordinators, I'd like to begin. Okay, well, greetings and good afternoon from Chicago, Illinois. Of course, good evening to all of you in North Macedonia, as well as the Balkans region. I am Jabari Smith, your facilitator for this session, and it is my pleasure to welcome you all to World Chicago and Global Entrepreneurship Week, North Macedonia's event. World Chicago, grow as a global leader with professional fellowship opportunities in the United States. As program manager for World Chicago's Professional Fellows Program, as well as someone who has a background in social entrepreneurship and innovation, I had a strong desire to learn more about Global Entrepreneurship Week. So I reached out to Maria Domovska, who is one of our current professional fellows. And although my initial outreach was for a brief conversation, somehow, thankfully, we ended up with this amazing opportunity to host an event during this week and join this dynamic lineup of programming that has surely been inspiring and thought-provoking. With that being said, I would like to thank the Global Entrepreneurship Week North Macedonia team and event organizers, the Skopje Embassy team who is in attendance, the US State Department Bureau of Educational and Cultural Affairs, which none of this will be possible without our esteemed Pro Fellows alumni panelists, Simona Chaminska and Goran Stojanovski, as well as our World Chicago team who is in attendance. Specifically, I'd like to take a moment to introduce World Chicago's president, Peggy Parfenoff, who recently celebrated 19 years of dedicated service to the organization. And with that being said, has mentored and supported every professional fellow that has come through World Chicago. Peggy, would you like to share a few words before we begin?
Sure, absolutely. Well, welcome everyone. I'm excited to see you. Greetings from Chicago, and we hope you're doing well. It's been, as you know, of course, crazy year. And so whenever we want to escape, my husband and I pull up old photos and look at sitting on the river in Skopje and being on a boat in Lake Ulrid. And we think, oh, someday we will be back and join you again doing those great things. But we're excited that we have a great group of fellows who helped put this together, and of course our alumni who we love getting back together with and seeing as much as we can. We're excited to hear Jabari talk a little bit more about the Professional Fellows Exchange and what it does, and excited to announce that we were also awarded a program to work on called YTILI, which is Young Transatlantic Innovation Leaders Initiative. And we'll open the website on December 1st. So be sure to connect with the US Embassy and keep an eye on their blog posts and their social media, because I know they'll be talking about this new entrepreneurship focus program that's going to open for all 45 countries in Europe starting December 1st. You'll see the website. So excited to be working on new programs. They'll be virtual for a while like this one, but at least it allows us to be together even for an hour. So thank you, Jabari. Great to see everyone.
Thank you, Peggy. Really appreciate those comments. And certainly I'd like to give you a little bit more time to discuss YTILI later if you would like to. When I brought this opportunity to Peggy for her insights, we both agreed that World Chicago's participation in Global Entrepreneurship Week North Macedonia was an ideal collaboration for several reasons. First, the founder and coordinator of Global Entrepreneurship Week North Macedonia, Simona Chaminska, is a World Chicago Tech Innovation and Entrepreneurship Professional Fellowship Program alum. You will hear more from her later. As I previously stated, she is one of our esteemed panelists. Aside from Simona's leadership, Global Entrepreneurship Week is being supported by several current World Chicago Professional Fellows, including Maria Domovska, who I previously mentioned, and Monica Rozovska. Secondly, and really important to note, but the history of the Balkans diaspora in Chicago has made it an ideal US city for emerging entrepreneurs from Southeastern Europe to hone their leadership and innovation skills. In addition, Chicago continues to retain its standing as a top 20 entrepreneurship ecosystem, as well as the #1 city for women-led startups. Now, if that doesn't inspire you guys to want to apply for a professional fellowship program to visit Chicago, then I don't know what will. But hopefully this presentation will inspire and excite you guys further. So without further delay, I'd like to jump into a brief presentation that will give you all a bit of history about WorldChicago, as well as insight into the Professional Fellows Program. I will share my screen right now. So for the past 68 years, WorldChicago has served as the city of Chicago's official host for international visitors who are on US government-sponsored programming from every corner of the globe. We coordinate professional and educational programs, cultural activities, homestays, and international exchanges for emerging leaders, entrepreneurs, and innovators, much like many of you who are participating in this event from various parts of the world. We are the 3rd largest affiliate in the Global Ties US network. Global Ties US is a nonprofit membership association for organizations like ourselves that work together to promote citizen diplomacy across the United States. We have hosted over 691 visitors in total from 118 countries. And it's an honor to note that many of those visitors have come from the Balkans region in Southeastern Europe. Now for the Professional Fellows Program, which is why we are here. The Professional Fellows Tech Innovation and Entrepreneurship Program supports emerging entrepreneurs and innovators from Croatia, Slovenia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, North Macedonia, and most recently, Montenegro has joined that cadre of countries. In addition to Eastern Europe, we also work in South and Central Asia, as well as the Middle East, supporting fellows from those regions as well. Now, I'd like to note that the Professional Fellows Program is not just an opportunity to grow professionally, but also an opportunity to grow as a holistic leader. As you can see pictured, professional fellows have had opportunities to volunteer in the community. These fellows are pictured volunteering at an Autism Speaks walk in Chicago. And that is just one example of the many volunteer opportunities fellows have when they're in the city.
And that's Goran at the end, our speaker today.
Let's see, where's Goran?
Right there at the very end.
Oh, nice. Didn't even know I was featuring him. Now, what makes the Professional Fellows Program extremely unique as compared to many other fellowship programs is that it is a two-way exchange, meaning that after fellows have had this opportunity to work in Chicago for 4 weeks with leaders and innovators in industries that they work in their home countries, those who have supported them in Chicago, the placement host, the WorldChicago staff, mentors, get the opportunity to travel then to the respective countries of the fellows to learn about the work that they've since implemented in their home countries. This takes place in the form of a catalyzed summit. And it was brought to my attention that our fellow and alum, Goran, was responsible for hosting a catalyzed summit in Skopje in 2019. Now, of course, in non-COVID times, these events happen in person, which create for an amazing 2 to 3 days of exchange and innovation and collaboration. While we're not able to do that at the moment, we are working on creating a hybrid model that will potentially be able to create the same electric energy that these summits are known for. So stay tuned for that. We'd love for you all to make a further step to committing to citizen diplomacy by not only looking further into the Professional Fellows Program, but also the YTILI program, which Peggy will give you all a little bit more information about right now. Thank you.
Did you want me to put some more words in about YTILI?
Yes, yes, please.
Excellent. So again, the new initiative called YTILI, or Young Transatlantic Innovation Leaders Initiative, which is why we call it YTILI. Easier to say. We're working with our partner Seed Slovenia, and Tiasa from Seed, who is also an alum of the Professional Fellows Program, is one of our key coordinators on that program. So you can look at Seed Slovenia's website, YTILI-worldchicago.org, or the U.S. Embassy in Skopje, or in your country if you're not from North Macedonia. We'll all have information about this starting December 1st. And it is a program that is similar to Professional Fellows. It's a 1-month fellowship in one of 9 U.S. cities, but it comes with a really robust virtual curriculum. So for 4 months before the fellowship and 4 months after, we have a mini MBA program that goes with it. And the capstone project is a summit in Europe, first one being in Ljubljana, Slovenia. So right in your region, focused on entrepreneurs. We'll bring 60 entrepreneurs from 45 countries. So it's not as many people as the Professional Fellows, but it's a targeted fellowship that's really going to be a great experience for entrepreneurs. So that's coming up December 1st, again, is when the website goes live. So we'll be sending out information on it, but look for it. And we're happy to answer any questions as a Seed Slovenia. Thank you, Jabari.
You're welcome. You're welcome. There will be time at the end of our panel discussion in which you all can ask any questions that you may have about YTILI, Pro Fellows, and of course, asking questions to our panelists. Now, I'm excited to segue into what I truly feel is the heart of this session, and that is our panel discussion with 2 of our 2018 Professional Fellows Program alumni who, and I want to share this because I think it says a lot about the quality and the caliber of the experience that these fellows had. It only took one ask for them to commit to participating in this event, and the turnaround was almost instant. So I'm extremely grateful that Simona and Goran have both agreed to participate. I'd like to share a bit of their backgrounds with you all so you know who you are hearing from, because they're both amazing. First up, we have Simona Chaminska, who started her career in the office of the Prime Minister in North Macedonia as an advisor for legal affairs. In 2017, she transferred to Makedonski Telecom, the leading telecommunications operator in the country, to work on the foundation of the Startup Center. After 2 years, she was transferred to Global Services Organization in Deutsche Telekom IT, where she still works today as product owner for SAP Solutions in the area of identity access governance. Simona started coordinating Global Entrepreneurship Week North Macedonia in 2018 in partnership with Startup Macedonia Association. They began with only 2 events in 2018, and in less than 2 years have scaled to over 43 events. That is quite impressive. We are so proud that Simona is a WorldChicago Cohort 2018 alum. While in Chicago, she completed her fellowship placement at World Business Chicago, where she supported the Think Chicago initiative. Let us welcome Simona to our virtual stage.
Hi, thank you, Jabari, for the very nice words.
You're welcome. I'd like to introduce Goran next before we begin the panel. Goran Stojanovski obtained his PhD in systems theory in 2013 from SS Cyril and Methodius University in Skopje, North Macedonia. After finalizing his PhD, he focused on optimization of complex energy networks and spent a few years in Germany working on his postdoc research. Currently, he is the site lead of ScaleFocus Skopje and a leading AI expert. His recent work is focused on utilizing AI and machine learning to build forecasting algorithms for day-ahead and intraday trading. The tools developed by his team are utilized to forecast consumption and generation of electrical energy by several countries in the Western Balkans region. It's my pleasure to welcome Goran Stojanovski to our virtual stage as well. Goran?
Thanks, Jabari. It was very, very nice words. So I don't know how can I top that. Now I need to impress during my time.
Well, you've joined us from out of space, so I think that's pretty impressive. But I would love to give both panelists 5 to 7 minutes to talk about themselves, their accomplishments, and their experiences as alum of the Professional Fellows Program. From there, We will open up the floor to questions from our panelists, and I will also ask a few questions as well. So without further ado, I'm handing the floor to Simona.
Thank you a lot, Jabari. Dear Peggy, dear Jabari, dear all, I'm very happy to be with you here tonight. I am Simona, the coordinator of the Global Entrepreneurship Week, North Macedonia, and I would like to start by saying that to be a professional fellow is not only good for oneself, I mean for the own career, but I see that as a very good representation. I think that someone needs to mute. Okay. All right. So I think this is very important for the country itself, that we are good ambassadors of our country, that we are representing our country everywhere we go. And I see this is a very, very big importance in such programs. I studied law. I graduated in Macedonia at the Law University. And then I did some internships in Germany. I started my career actually there, then moved back to Macedonia to work for the Office of the Prime Minister. And from there, I transferred to telecom. My first big assignment in telecom was the foundation of the Startup Center. However, the Startup Center, right after we built it, was terminated. And actually, this was my first big failure. And I really did not cope good with failures at that point. However, then I proceeded with other projects and other assignments. And in the meanwhile, I started taking care about the Global Entrepreneurship Week. That was the same year when I went to the States and for this fellowship. And I'm saying this because there was one event that totally changed how I started responding to failures. And this was Chicago Ideas Week, because we were helping with the World Business Chicago in organizing this event. And there was one open day with students and Mayor Emanuel Ram. For the ones that follow American politics, you might know that Mayor Emanuel Ram was actually in President Obama's office. So he is a well-known, well-respected politician. And he had a very long but very powerful speech on failures. And I remember, like he said to the students that you will fail again and again and again, but you have to stand up again and again and again. And that you should really try to embrace the failures as lessons learned, not as something that you will never go back to do again. So I think that this really had a very big impact on me. And after that, I tried to look on failures in a bit different perspective. And so far today, I can even say that I turned them into challenges. I challenged myself to do better. So this was a very big takeaway from me from the US, because the US has this culture of grasping failures into lessons learned, more than we have it on the Balkans, where we have a very strict culture about it. After that, after my transfer to Deutsche Telekom, actually the fellowship helped a lot, because my managers asked me to present to them what I learned while I was in the US. And as a response to that, they gave me the innovation stream. So now I'm coordinating the innovation stream in my company, because they saw that I have the values that are needed, that I can turn the failures into lessons learned, because this is also not easy in German culture either. So for me, the fellowship had tremendous effect, both on my career and my personal life. And I would like to say that if you are giving such a kind of opportunity, please use it, because you can never know what could be the impact for that. So I would like to finish here, give the space to Goran, but more or less, this is how the fellowship impacted me and how I see it as a success story for my career so far. Thank you.
Thank you, Simona. Thank you for those words. I have a few questions for you, but I'll wait until the panel Q&A session. Now, we would move on to Goran. Goran?
Thanks, Jabari. Hi, everyone. Let me first thank you officially, Peggy and Jabari, for inviting me here. It's always a pleasure to share what I have learned and all my experiences during my stay in Chicago as a professional fellow. So I won't go into too much introduction. I'll focus on two things. Before I came to Chicago, I was kind of in a turning point in my life. I used to be an academic for almost 10 years then, and I decided that I want to switch that life for a life of an entrepreneur, and I quit my job at the university, formed a company, fresh academic, only with ideas, not being aware of how the business world really works. And I was looking at this opportunity that came out, and some of my friends recommended it to me. They said, hey, it's a really good thing. You should really go there. On paper, it looked really nice, but in reality, I had lost my most stable income stream. I had a child of around one year and few months, and I had to spend almost 1.5 months in the United States, leaving my wife and my child home alone. So it was not an easy decision to say, okay, yeah, I'll go and take a walk through Chicago for 45 days. It's not like it was not very well measured with the pros and cons. But to the best of me won, and I decided that I will apply, and hopefully I'm very likable, as you can see from my face and my hair. So Peggy liked me, and she said, this is the guy that I need to bring into Chicago. I had a lot of misconceptions about how business is done, and I came to Chicago with a very specific idea in mind. I wanted to network, and I wanted to learn how this US dream is accomplished, how you can do business in the country that really invented that. I had a very good mentor in Mark Werwath from Northwestern University, who really introduced me to most of the concepts. But as time went by during my stay in Chicago, I didn't manage to achieve anything meaningful. At least I thought so at that point of time. We had a great time. Thank you for featuring me several times during the presentation. I saw myself there. I have very nice memories from all of the guys that were there together, and you guys from WorldChicago. But the time passed by, and again, I came back home. I was feeling that I didn't fulfill my potential while I was there. Then Peggy called me, let's organize an event in Skopje, the Catalyze event. I helped there. It was not that like I organized the event, Jabari. I'll have to correct there. There were a lot of people involved. I was just responsible for one technical smart of it, a small part of it, to bring some people that could really bring the value. And there is the time when things started to become interesting for me. So tracking back my success with my private company, Elevate Global, and my current company where I work in ScaleFocus, I can really track 60% of the current clients we have in Elevate Global are a direct or indirect result of my coming to Chicago. So 3 or 4 years after that, we have 3 key accounts that are either from Chicago or related to a person I met during my stay in Chicago. On top of that, the company I currently work in as a site lead, ScaleFocus, is a company to which I was introduced to a person from Chicago. So this company was looking to expand in Skopje, and they were on an informal meeting with one of the contacts I met in Chicago, and he recommended me as a really nice guy with a really nice hair that they should talk to before coming to Skopje. And what can I say? Sometimes you need to wait a little bit more in terms of time and to have more patience before you see the success of the actions. One of the best things I was given from WorldChicago is meeting all those wonderful people in Chicago with whom we still keep in touch. We still have the groups where we chat from time to time. And out of that, sometimes a true friendship, sometimes a business opportunity will come out. You cannot achieve everything, but it was really a very good and positive experience for me coming to Chicago. And I can only recommend for everyone else to apply. and to join the next program, because there is a lot to learn there. So I think I was not boring, and I will leave more time for Q&A. We have a lot of things to discuss.
Yes. Yes. Thank you, Goran. You were not boring at all. Actually hilarious, the references to the hair. That was awesome. Thank you so much. I would like to take a quick break for us to fulfill some marketing purposes before we jump into the panel discussion. Our marketing and development director, Morgan, would like us to all at this moment wave and smile at the camera so that we can take a screenshot, which will be shared in our newsletter tomorrow. So everyone turn your camera on, fix your hair, your eyebrows, whatever's necessary. And on the count of 5, we will smile and wave at the camera for a screenshot, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, I think we're good. I think we're good. Thank you guys. Okay, so I would like to jump into the panel discussion. My first question is for both Simona and Goran. And again, I will open the floor up to questions from any panelist. Peggy, if you can help me identify any panelists who may have any questions, that would be great. Because I don't want to only ask the questions. I would like it to be fluid. I would like it to flow. So my first question, as I was preparing for this event, I was reading an article that was published by the Think School of Creative Leadership in Amsterdam. And I found it to be a very interesting article on innovation and inner polarities, why innovation is the ultimate place for growth. One of the quotes from that article that stood out to me was that leaders should not be left alone to self-reflect, but taken on a journey where they learn in relation to others and where they are challenged to rediscover themselves. How would both of you say that the experience of being around so many motivated and determined leaders in your WorldChicago cohorts challenged you? How would you say that being around motivated and determined leaders in your WorldChicago cohorts challenged you? I will start with Simona.
Okay. For me, I would say that it challenged me to think if I am capable to think or work in other areas. At that point, I was still not working in Agile and all these methodologies, but the others were. And then we had a discussion, and I was the only one that I had no idea what they're discussing about. And that totally challenged me to learn all about it. And now we even have regular calls because now I can also keep up with them. And that's one aspect. And the second aspect is that our cohort especially is very strong, and we still keep close contact, and we still help each other a lot. So I think that this is how it impacted me. We really built very strong connections, and if I need someone in Bosnia or somewhere else, I always reach out to them, they reach out to me, and this is how we still maintain our contact.
Thank you, Simona. Goran?
From my point of view, the biggest, there were 2 challenges that I think I started overcoming while my stay in Chicago. The first one was, as a former academic, I used to be very focused on a very narrow domain. I didn't had a broad picture of the world. So to say, the big picture, and mixing with a lot of people from different countries with different angles of view on the same thing helped me easily overcome that narrowness I used to have. And that's the first aspect of my character. The second aspect of my profession is I really was not aware how does it feel to be rejected business-wise multiple times per day. And in my first weeks in Chicago, I had a plan that I came from, that I wrote down in Skopje, and I started to implement it, and it was a total failure because I completely did not understand how business is done in the States. And then with the help of my mentor and with a lot of help of my peers, I managed first to overcome the embarrassment I felt from writing down a plan that was total disaster, obviously. And then step by step to accept the rejections and to turn them, as Simona beautifully said, into challenges. So improve all my skills day by day. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, great. Thank you, Goran. We have a question for you. While in Chicago, were you able to check whether your business idea is relevant, is globally relevant?
Well, that's a very very good question. To be honest, I wasn't able to check, not because the opportunity was not there, but because I was not asking the right questions at the time. So the things I learned in Chicago helped me to validate my business idea later on and to pivot it in the right direction. But to be honest, during my stay in Chicago, I was not able to process all that new information that was thrown at me so fast that I was able to pivot everything in my head during my time there. So at the moment I thought, okay, what we are doing is nonsense. Obviously, no one is interested in that. And then it took like a few months back in Macedonia, in Skopje, to reflect on everything and to just render the idea to be fit for the market we are targeting.
Great. Speaking of the market, how would you describe the market? And this question is for both of you. Over the weekend, I was chatting with a friend from Johannesburg, and I was, raving about this experience that I'm having working with all of these leaders and innovators in the Balkans. And he said, how would you describe them? If you could give me a snapshot view of what they're like. And I said, well, in my perspective, they're very dynamic, but in terms of the market that you all are working to serve, how would you describe that market? And this is for both of you. Simona, would you like to start?
Yeah, sure. So how would I describe the Balkan market?
Yes.
Well, I think that when we innovate and we open businesses, this is because we really are faced with a problem and we have to solve this problem. We don't innovate because we have free time and we theoretically think that we might improve the situation somewhere else. I think that this is kind of the difference of how our society is built versus how the society in some more developed countries is built, because many opportunities, especially infrastructure, that we are lacking are already existing, let's say in Chicago. So it is kind of more easy for people there to innovate compared to us. I would describe us as brave, as very creative, as not always best informed about what is possible, what is not possible or allowed, but for sure I would describe us as visionary.
Goran, is there anything you'd like to add?
Well, in general, what I would like to add is that the market in the Western Balkans in general, I would say, is quite different than the market in the States. So there are a lot of historical reasons why things are organized in different way. But let's say the bottom line is innovators innovate. The idea is to find something that is not working properly in the market that you are situated in and try to provide a solution that will enable people or companies to make their lives easier. And from that point of view, the market is the same everywhere. It's just the slight variations of the problems that we are solving or the tools that we have. As Simona said, there are different tools, I would call them as infrastructure available in the States, and there are different tools available here. But overall, on ideation level, I think the same mindset could work on both markets.
Okay. Thank you. We have a question.
Yeah, Hi from me to everyone. My name is Maria Dimoska from Startup Macedonia, and also assisting Simona in the Global Entrepreneurship Week. So I have a question for both fellows. Considering that I'm a WorldChicago fellow for the autumn of 2020, big thanks to Peggy and her team for enabling me to participate in this wonderful and enriching program, professionals program. I have one question for both fellows, and that is, what particular experience brought about a learning curve for you throughout the fellowship on a professional level and maybe even on a personal level?
Either of you can answer.
Yeah, maybe it was a tough one.
Since more or less, I think I kind of answered this. So on a professional level, learning to cope with rejection and learning to listen to other people carefully. And by listening, I'm not just to listen to them, but to understand what they're trying to tell you, not to listen to respond, to listen to understand. So this is the biggest personal, and I would say also professional development I had during my stay in Chicago.
As I mentioned, for me, more or less it was the lesson on failures. But one thing that I really learned, and I do it now also, is that I am openly asking questions if I want something. This is what I learned in World Business Chicago, because I was asking if I can talk to the person that hosts the Sister Cities program between Warsaw and Chicago, because I currently live in Warsaw. And I was very shy to ask this person. I was just mentioning, you know, I live in Warsaw, etc. And this person told me, okay, so what do you want? And I said, I would like to go to a meeting with some Polish people. Not only they brought me to a meeting, they brought me to the Polish hereditary breakfast. This is a monthly breakfast with all most well-situated Polish families. And me attending this breakfast actually helped me build very good quality connections in Poland right now. So I will always keep this advice in mind, that if you want something, you have to really openly ask for it. You cannot just mention something and hope that someone would, you know, guess what you want and etc. And I really admire this aspect of sincerity and honesty and openness in American culture. I think this is very important.
Thank you for sharing.
Those were really great insights. And on to your point, Simona, there's a quote that's popular in America, perhaps popular worldwide. It says, closed mouths don't get fed. And essentially that is exactly, you know, what your point iterated. If you don't ask, you don't get. So I'm happy that that was a great takeaway for you. We have a question from David. David, please go ahead and ask your question.
Thank you, sir. Hello, everyone. So my name is David. I'm I would say the newest member of the Macedonia American Alumni Association. And from what I can tell, I'm also the youngest. So I must say I'm very honored to be amongst such prestigious and prestigious individuals, where I can learn so much from you all. But my question is to Mr. Goran and Mrs. Simona. I was meaning to ask, what was the biggest challenge both of you faced during your time in Chicago, and how did you overcome it?
For me, it was all of us. We were, I think, 15 people. And all of us working in the 15 best ecosystem places in Chicago. Every day there was an event somewhere, and every day we had to make a choice. Okay, do we go here or do we go there? And there is no there is no possibility that you go in both places, especially if you live a bit further. Then you're also tied with public transportation and all that. So for me, it was a lot of opportunity, a lot of offer. Chicago has a very vibrant tech scene. So you really have to make a good concept in your head. What do you want to do and what do you want to achieve? Because it's not possible to achieve everything and to see everything. So this was the biggest challenge for me.
For me, the biggest challenge was not to daydream all day long in Chicago, but to focus myself on business. Chicago is a beautiful city, and really there are a lot of things that you can attend, and you can go sightseeing and do very, very fun stuff. But I was there with a purpose, and every day I had to overcome this a drive to go and spend more time in that beautiful city. So.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for your question, David. We have a question from Alexandra, who's asked that I ask the question on her behalf. Hello, everyone. Can we get more info on what the 45-day program in Chicago actually contains in terms of activities, etc.? What kind of participants does it target? I'm wondering if this program is right for me. And also, what are the requirements to apply? Thank you for your answers. Peggy, would you like to answer that?
Sure. I'm going to go skip to the second part of that question. So just right now, given we're in a pandemic, in case anyone wasn't aware, the program is virtual for now, and we have our fellows. We're still waiting to hopefully come to Chicago someday soon when travel is safe. So the next cycle will begin with an application cycle in the fall of 2021. So just so you know, that's when to start looking for the application, and keep an eye on the embassy website, as well as our partner in Macedonia, which is Seed Macedonia. And we look for participants who are between ages 25 and 40, and they are entrepreneurs or people in the entrepreneurship ecosystem. So they might work at an incubator, an accelerator, a university. Dimitar Jovosky is one of our alumni as well, who's on the call. He's a professor at Cyril and Methodist University in Skopje, but he focuses on entrepreneurship. So we're really looking at people who are in the entrepreneurship ecosystem and can take that back. And the biggest thing we look for is somebody who's a leader and who will influence others and be on panels like this and answer in a day and say, yeah, I'd like to share more about entrepreneurship and what it's done for me, and that it is a viable economic path for you. So those are the types of people we look for, who are willing to come with an open mind. And as Goran said, it might not be what they were thinking of, but they're still going to get so much out of it. And it takes you at least 6 months, I think, to unpack your experience and really understand what you were going through. So during the 45-day program, starts with an orientation, and then you stay with a host family and you get up and go to work every day. You're in your fellowship Monday through Friday from 9 to 5. But there's days when you're out and about, you do some job shadowing, you do work on projects with the company, you really become part of the company team. And there's, as Simona said, there is so much networking that happens, so many events in Chicago around the tech and entrepreneurship sector. It's a new sector, so it's really growing. And there is some volunteer opportunities. So what did I forget about the program time frame? Simona or Goran, what else did you do during your month in Chicago?
Spend some time with hosts. That was fun.
Yeah, learning the American way of life, staying with hosts is a very, very good opportunity to really see how people are living in the United States. Is very different than the movies. I can assure you about that. And whatever you're thinking the program is, you will be wrong. So people that want to experience new things, they should go there and experience it. This is not something that you can just share as a story, because all of us enter our personality inside there, and the outcome is completely different. So it's like a Kierkegaardian leap of faith. You have to do it if you want to see what's going to happen.
Thank you.
Thank you for pointing out that life in America is very different from how it's depicted in the movies. Most people imagine New York, Los Angeles, and nothing else. So I'm happy you guys were able to get a realistic view of life in America. We have a question from Darko. Darko, would you like to pose your question?
Hello, everyone. Yes, so my name is Darko Stojanovski. I would like to ask a question. The question is for, sorry, what was the name? For Goran, I think. Yeah. So my question is regarding the what would be the in order to get the most benefit of this program, what would you think would be the correct level of the business idea? So it should be already implemented to some extent. Do you think you will obtain more benefit in that if you already have some kind of people working with you towards this idea, or you think it's better for people that don't have I mean already some type of implementation of the idea, so it's just more like exploration journey for yourself? I was wondering, because you already mentioned that you had some business ideas, so I was wondering what type of like development approaches you took before actually joining this program.
Well, you know, it's all about the timing. No matter at what stage an idea is, or whether it's implemented, the implementation has begun or not, it really doesn't matter. What matters is what question do you want to ask. So if you haven't started with implementation, the question you might want to answer during your stay on such a fellowship is whether this makes sense, whether I can make business out of the idea that I have and put it in motion and really help people bring more values to companies or to families. If there is an implementation started, the question then would be whether the implementation that you are doing is the right one or you need to think of something else. So if you ask me whether there is a perfect timing, there is no perfect timing. Do you have lots of questions on every stage on an idea level? In my particular case, I can say that we already had the idea developed and we already had an initial implementation. So my goal was to validate that what we are doing is that the solution that we provide for the problem is the fit for the market. And that was that's completely different than answering a question whether an idea is relevant or not. So my suggestion is whatever stage you're in, you need to write a plan, write 10 questions that you want to answer, bring up a plan that could help you answer those questions during the stay in Chicago. You'll go there, you'll understand that your plan doesn't work, but then you'll iterate in an agile way. You can make improvements. If you're ready that your plan will not be perfect, then it's easier compared to what I had faced during my stay there. But again, there is no perfect timing. Any time of an idea is a very good thing to go and validate with people with diverse backgrounds.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Jabari, you're on mute, so you'll need to unmute.
My apologies. We have a guest who would like to ask a question, but before I turn the floor over to him, just so we're not losing out on some of the questions that have been previously asked, we have another question from Seed Slovenia for you, Simona. When you think on your time in Chicago, did you see any differences in how your job or similar jobs are done there as compared to in your country?
Mm-hmm. Yes, there is a big difference. First of all, I will answer this in two ways: for my corporate career and for the ecosystem. In corporate wise, I met with a person that works also for one very big telecommunications company, and I was talking to him what do I want to do, and etc. Because he was part of World Business Chicago as a consultant. And he told me that in US, in corporates, if you want to achieve something, there is always some kind of leadership program or whatever. And there is always an opportunity that you can run your own project and the corporate will fund you. This is not the case mostly with companies, especially not in Macedonia. First, because of budgetary aspect, and second, because of mindset aspect. So individual projects of employees are not that well encouraged. But with this idea, when I went to my managers now where I'm working, they totally supported the idea, and that's actually how I got Innovation Stream. So this is a very big difference between here and the US. If we are talking about ecosystem, the organizations that I met there that work with the ecosystems are actually very transparent. Startup Macedonia is now doing that. It has a platform where all startups can register, and then one can get information about those startups, etc. But in US, it's a lot more easier because everything is more digitalized. For example, in MHub, right when you enter in that hub, you can see the number of members directly there on the wall displayed. So I think the transparency is it's a bit different. Probably it is because there is another type of awareness, another level of awareness, how relevant it is that you put out your contacts if you want someone to contact you back. However, as I mentioned, now we have that in Macedonia, achieving that with Startup Macedonia digital platform. So I hope that this will also be the case very soon.
Great. And can you explain what MHub is for those who are not aware?
Mm-hmm. Yes, MHub is actually one of the Chicago's biggest incubators. It is operated by World Business Chicago, and it serves as a place for organizing events and also as a co-working space.
Thank you. We have 2 questions in the queue. You guys are so popular. I'd like to turn the floor over to Aboki. He has a very important question.
Hello everyone. I'm Boki, and regarding this panel, I'm a startup enthusiast, former intern, and a part of the organizers of the Global Entrepreneurship Week here in Macedonia last year, and I just finished my internship also with Upkey, which is a Chicago-based startup. And we had a great panel with Robi Scott from World Business Chicago. We talked about HR and diversity in US companies, but and that experience was really amazing, and I would like to come to Chicago someday. So my question to Simona and to Goran would be, because we are Macedonians, we always want some shortcuts. So can you tell me any tips or tricks that you encountered during your application for this fellowship program? Thank you very much.
My first tip is you don't ask for tips on a program that's recorded and posted on YouTube. So that's my tip for you. Do that privately.
I think I will join to this statement. Be just more or less be true to yourself.
Yeah.
Be honest, and that's it.
I thought you'll pick it up. Just be honest and explain how you will help to spread the message of entrepreneurship locally in the country. Because what I think we're lacking as a country the most is the lack of entrepreneurship spirit. Again, there are multiple historical reasons why we are like that, but this enthusiasm that entrepreneurs have is, according to me, the most important thing that will enable Peggy to pick you from the bulk of applications.
Thank you for that question, Boki. I think they're also both trying to say reach out to them privately because they can give you more tips and tricks offline. But great question. Love your enthusiasm. Thank you so much. Next up, we have Nina. Nina, what is your question?
Thank you, Jabari, and good evening, everybody. I joined a bit late, but it's so nice to see so many familiar faces. My question goes directly to Simona and to Goran, because I know that after your fellowship, once you come back to the country, you need to give back what you've learned and how you can contribute to your home country startup ecosystem or entrepreneurial ecosystem. So what are some of the activities that you did upon your return, and what do you plan to do in the future? Maybe some tips for the future fellows, what can be done after you complete your fellowship? Thank you.
Okay, maybe I can start. The major, let's say, give back that I'm doing for the ecosystem in Macedonia is the Global Entrepreneurship Week. North Macedonia, like I mentioned, actually, I'm investing a lot of time into this and a lot of energy, considering that for 2 years already I live abroad, and everything that I'm doing remotely. Of course, with Startup Macedonia together, we're doing this as a joint initiative. So this is one aspect. And the second aspect is that every time when I have the chance, I'm supporting the ecosystem with expertise, with contacts, with project, with any kind of engagement that I can, which is possible to be done remotely, of course, because I believe that we have a lot to offer, we have a lot to show, and I really work to see Macedonia on the global ecosystem of mapped, successful, and well-connected ecosystems. I think we lack still promotion, and I want to see us there. So this is why I think that Global Entrepreneurship Week is only one of the initiatives how we can achieve better promotion and better position. Thank you.
From my point of view, the biggest give back is I'm really active in the, I would say, more technical communities that we currently have that are pushing innovation from academia into entrepreneurship. So I'm leading two local groups. One is called Skopje AI. It's an informal AI group in North Macedonia, and the second one is Data Science Macedonia meetup, which is the largest informal gathering of technical people in the region. I would say we have more than 1,200 members in that group. So most of my giving back, I do that through those groups where we are helping young engineers to validate their ideas and pushing them how they can turn their ideas into potential business. The other obvious thing is whenever there is an event organized by WorldChicago and coming back, we are always eager and glad to help Peggy and the team organize the best possible event.
Thank you. Thank you. We are nearing the end of this session. I have one final question that I want both alumni of our program to address in a very succinct manner. Then we will have closing remarks from members of our team. So my final question is for both Simona and Goran. What drives you today on this 18th day of November? What drives you today? What is your why?
I want to make I can do it. I want to make the environment around me better for the sake of my family. So this is my why.
Thank you.
My why is that it is, like Maria mentioned, this is the 9th event today with the Global Entrepreneurship Week, but I am still super happy because I am seeing the value that we are giving to the community. So my why today is that we are giving back to the community, and this is really, really making me happy.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you both so much. Can we give a virtual round of applause to both Simona and Goran? You guys are awesome and amazing. Thank you so very much for participating and sharing your intellectual property, sharing your inspiration and your motivation. I'm sure we're all walking away feeling more motivated than when we joined this Zoom. Now, before we do our closing and make final remarks, I'd like to hand the floor over to Gazmend Ilazi from the embassy in Skopje. He has some remarks that he'd like to share. Gazmend? Gazmend?
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you, WorldChicago, for organizing this event. It's really amazing. It's very nice, and I see a lot of alumni today, and there are, as I can see, some are WorldChicago. I see Nina, she's YTILI, and tomorrow Peggy will have a YTILI presentation. Nina Nikolic is YTILI alumna. Yes. Also, I am very often in social media talking about the educational exchanges, and usually I start my presentation thanking the American citizens for paying their taxes, because without your taxes, these programs would be available for all the citizens around the world that are applying. So thank you very much, first of all, for you for paying the taxes and enabling all our citizens to apply for these outstanding scholarships. For this event, I would like to thank also the Macedonian American Alumni Association. They sent the call to all their members to join tonight, and I see a few of them responded positively. The alumni that are tonight here with us, please send me anytime that you have any highlight, any personal, professional achievement as an alumni. We at the embassy do every week weekly highlights. The same we share with the ambassador and with the Bureau of Education and Cultural Affairs, also with the program coordinators. For example, if you send me something that about your achievements and you are WorldChicago alumni, I will send to Peggy and Jabari, but also I will send to Sofia Stergau at the alumni headquarters. So they will share also with alumni worldwide. So with one click about your achievement worldwide will recognize your achievement. What we're looking for is very short blurb. I would say 5 lines max with 2-3 photos from the event. Where did it happen? Who attended? And what was said? That's it. More photos, better. I don't want to take longer of your time, but again, please, whenever you see the announcement for YTILI, for WorldChicago or other exchanges, please share with your friends, either in your Facebook page or with anyone that you think could be a good candidate. Sometimes just saying a word to somebody can click and apply and will be a successful applicant. Therefore, never ever hesitate to share the good word about the programs. While you are in US, trust me, we always take care for you, and the program hosts there, like Peggy and Jabari, will be with you 24/7. And I believe that all of you who have been to United States through the WorldChicago, you felt that you never were alone, that always somebody was taking care for you. I know that many people here in North Macedonia have hesitation that while they're there, they will be lost and who will take care for them and so on. These programs are so good organized that you will be all the time escorted, or we will friendship with someone. Without taking too much of your time, once again, thank you very much, WorldChicago team, and looking forward to see you tomorrow on the YTILI presentation.
Right. Thank you, Gazmin. Thank you so much. It's so great to meet you virtually and hear from you. And I encourage everyone who has those achievements to share to please reach out to Gazmin, because it's all about amplifying your accomplishments as a part of this amazing network. Peggy, do you have any words you'd like to share before I close us out?
Well, I just want to repeat your thanks to Gazmin. Great to see you. Thanks to Simona and Goran for sharing your experiences. That was really great. I learned from you, Goran. I didn't know 60% of your clients. That's awesome. I'm going to share that news, that 60% of your clients came from Chicago experience. But I think both Jabari and I would say our why is you. You inspire us, and we're delighted to hear from you, and that we got to travel to North Macedonia, even virtually today. So thank you.
Thank you all. I'd like to close us out. Well, first of all, reiterating Peggy's thanks and appreciation for you all. Thank you so much. And I'd like to close us out by sharing a quote that I picked from the article that I spoke about earlier, the Think Creative School of Leadership. And it says, to be an innovator requires us to dig deep into ourselves and to find our way among our very human and very real polarities. We must face our hopes, our fears, and our longings, who we are and who we could be. This is why innovation is the ultimate place for growth and development. With that being said, I encourage you all to continue to dig deep, continue to inspire, continue to aspire to inspire, and just continue to be great. You all are amazing. Thank you so much. We at WorldChicago appreciate you. Everyone have a great evening and a great afternoon for those of us in the United States. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you,
WorldChicago.
Maria. Thank you, Goran.
Bye-bye.
And
Bye.
thank you, everyone, all of our
Goodbye.
participants.
Thank you.
Hi, Gasper. Michael.
Hi, Jabari.
Good to see you. Glad you joined.
Huh?
I'm happy you joined.
Yeah, thank you.
Lucho.
Nice to see you in a tie.
I know. First time you've seen me.
So thank you, guys.
You're welcome.
See you
You're
around.
welcome.
Good. I hope it
Bye.
was
Michael, thank you for participating.
Yeah.
Oh, it was a pleasure to be here. I felt like I was like, oh, I helped, beforehand. I was like,
We did a run through of the presentation.
we did.
Oh, good. Good.
It was perfect. Everything flowed really well.
Great.
Yeah.
You helped.
But I also wanted to say, since Peggy's on here, I wanted to thank her again for her letter recommendation. So, because I had submitted my application yesterday.
Oh, good.
Yeah, fingers crossed now. I couldn't have done it.
Yeah.
I really appreciate your, time dedicated
Yep.
to it. So.
Absolutely. Good luck. Let us know. Keep in touch.
Thank you. Alrighty.
Yeah.
Well, I'll go back to work now, but I'll talk to you.
Okay.
We'll see you soon.
Thank you, Michael.
Alrighty. Bye-bye.
Bye. Take care.
All right.
Peggy, hi. Just to say hi and
Hi,
bye
David.
also.
I know. I heard a little voice in the background, so I know you're in the middle of family time. How are you?
I am fine. I'm jumping between two events at the moment. I have World Summit Award in progress, and yeah,
Oh, wow.
Wow.
going back and forth. Yeah,
Oh,
but
good.
really, it was really nice panel to hear.
Good.
Yeah, I'm happy that I joined.
I think it went well. Yeah, I think it really did. So thank you. Good to see you. Dimitar was one of the last people I saw when I traveled internationally.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
December.
last December,
Yeah.
I think 17th of December, something like that.
We had a fabulous lunch at a winery that I'll never forget. So,
Dimitar, where are you? Where are you located?
In my living room.
Yeah.
but
Looks like
my
San
daughter.
Francisco.
Yeah, but my daughter is jumping around, so I need to put a virtual background. You don't want to see my real background.
I think she'd be more fun in the background, but
Yeah.
well, good to see you. Take care.
Yeah, also you too, everybody. So yeah, everything you need, just always you can ask. Support the whole initiative.
Thank you, Dimitar. We definitely will. Take care.
Stay safe. And Jabbar, nice to meet you.
Great to meet you as well. Hope to be able to interact more soon.
Yeah, for sure. Have a good one. Bye.
Take care.
Great.
Okay.
So I think, let's see, will we move?
Oh, so the recording, I need to see it.
And remove. Okay.
So